When most people think of a game warden, what do they think of? Like a Texas game warden, they picture someone patrolling the lakes, reviewing and checking fishing license, or just protecting wildlife. But there's so much more to the job and to the people who hold on to that title. Our guest tonight has spent more than 2 decades serving Texans, protecting our natural resources, helping people in times of crisis, mentoring the next generation of game wardens. His passion for conservation and public service has even inspired his own son to follow in his footsteps. Tonight, introduced to you, Captain Sean Hervey of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Well, to get us right out the gate, I think a little bit of background on you. Where did you grow up? Did you always enjoy being outside?
Yes, ma'am. I grew up in the Texarkana area, Bowie County, up here in the northeast corner of East Texas. Uh, we didn't hunt a whole lot growing up. I didn't start hunting till later in my high school, college years, but I grew up going to lakes all over northeast Texas, southwest Arkansas, uh, water skiing, uh, swimming. Ended up started scuba diving at 14, 15 years old. Just always, we spent our summers on the waterways of East Texas and Southwest Arkansas.
Now, when you say camping, are you tent camping or are you are you glamping?
Oh no, no, no! We really wouldn't camp that much. We would just go to the lakes for the day and use them and come back and forth. If we stayed, we would usually rent a cabin or a hotel
Gotcha.
or something like that. Yeah, weren't big into the camping.
Well, what drew you to nature? What drew you to want to stay outside? Is there a moment in your life where you're like, I'm sitting at a desk and I don't want to be here? Or was it something even at a young age that you were like, I am destined to be in the trees?
Well, I just like the outdoors. I mean, I started off outdoors, of course, like many kids do in Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, stuff like that. Traveling around, hiking, seeing the mountains, seeing the woods, learning to appreciate what nature offers. Uh, and that grew into when I graduated high school, went to college. What do I want to do? So I started taking criminal justice classes at Texarkana College and did really good in those and really enjoyed learning that. And so I took my lot for the outdoors and my knowledge of criminal justice. What can I do? And I did an internship after I went to Stephen F. Austin State University with the local game wardens here back home. And I rode a summer with Mr. Thomas and Mr. Stinson for college credit and just absolutely loved the job. I mean, it was everything I wanted. And so when I graduated college, I applied for both Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department to get back home, and I also applied with Texas Parks and Wildlife. I got hired by Texarkana, Arkansas PD. I did not get hired my first attempt with the state of Texas. So I worked for 2 years for the city of Texarkana, and I reapplied after I got some law enforcement experience. I reapplied with Parks and Wildlife, and I got in on my second attempt, which is very common with the state. It's really common for people to have to get more experience to move up into a larger agency like that. So, like I say, I hired on in the year 2000, went through the Game Warden Academy in Austin, then was stationed in Rusk County, Texas for 2 years, and then was able to transfer back home to Texarkana in 2002, about the same time my first son was born. And then I served. Go ahead.
Oh, no, no, you go ahead. Continue on.
I served as the Bowie County Game Warden from 2002 to 2018, to which time my captain retired, and she had encouraged me to put in for the position, and so I applied for the captain's position in Mount Pleasant and was fortunate enough to get it. So since 2018, I've been the supervising captain over Northeast Texas here. I cover the 8 counties in the corner up here.
That's a lot. That's a lot of space to cover.
Yes, ma'am. I go from Texarkana almost to Sulphur Springs and from Oklahoma to the center of Caddo Lake
Oh, wow. Are you constantly traveling?
every day. I,
Does it get old?
I live in a truck. Yes, ma'am. That truck never stops moving, it seems like.
Oh, wow.
But hey, it's good. It's good. I get to see a lot of country. Nothing's the same every day. It's wonderful.
For those who may not know, and I'm curious, where does the criminal justice aspect come into being a game warden? Because I think of, like what I mentioned moments ago. I think of the fishing license, making sure people are on their p's and q's out on the water. Where does criminal justice start to play a factor into what you do?
Yes, ma'am. Criminal justice plays a factor in all our enforcement activities. We are always, we're checking licenses and stuff like that. And when you're doing that, you have to issue citations. You'll have to, run people for warrants, just all kinds of aspects of that. And we make several arrests weekly, daily, monthly, across the whole spectrum. It's not just you're writing somebody a ticket for, say, no fishing license. It may start out as a fishing license contact, and you run their name through dispatch, and they come back with a warrant, or they come back with a drug history, or they come back with something else, and then you have to follow up on that information. My guys make several arrests weekly for narcotics, several arrests for warrants, and different stuff like that. Sorry, my screen is going crazy on me here.
It's all right. I appreciate your time, of course. Now, when you're looking at all the aspects that come with a game warden, who do you think, or what makes, let's say, personality traits or habits that make a great game warden?
Well, you have to have somebody that can communicate with the public and talk to the public. You have to be able to talk in this job. I mean, you've got to look at where we work, and the best way I can describe it is when you're out, especially like at deer camps or any kind of hunting camps, or checking stuff on rivers. You're it. You're the only person there with a badge and a gun, and if you can't communicate, you can't accomplish your missions and your jobs correctly, it's just you there. There's no backup. I mean, I can think of times that we've had to make arrests, or I've had to make arrests, and I'm 2 hours from my truck by boat, or hey, I'm gonna have to arrest this guy, and we're gonna have to ride four wheelers out of here. It's you've got to know your limitations, plus you've got to know how to communicate and talk to people and de-escalate situations and accomplish that kind of stuff.
Have you been in a situation before where you felt like maybe you weren't able to handle the situation, or things got a little hairy? Walk me through maybe an experience.
Oh yeah, but those happen all the time. You never know what you're going to walk. I say they happen all the time. 99.9% of police work is mundane, boring activities. It's doing the routine. It's checking the fishing license. It's writing a ticket for an undersized bass, or hey, this person shot an undersized deer, or something like that. It's the everyday thing. It's that 1% of the time that nothing works and it all goes out the window, and here you are in the middle of nowhere by yourself with somebody who's not going to act correctly, and you have to be able to handle yourself and control the situation. As a game warden, everybody told me, hey, that's going to be like the most dangerous job you've ever done in your life. And I was like, not really, because 99.9% of the people we deal with are cordial and nice. But I can see where they get to that. Me as a game warden, I have been involved in a lot of situations throughout my career. I've worked the entire state of Texas at some point or another on special assignment, or going to the border to work saturation patrols, or going to the panhandle to work pheasant hunters, going to the coast to work offshore. I mean, I've seen the whole state at one time or another. So when you're out, say you're on a lake and you have to arrest the operator of a boat for being intoxicated. Well, he's not the only intoxicated person. Usually everybody on the boat's intoxicated. And it's one game warden with a boatload of people, and you just have to handle the situation. You have to take appropriate action and enforce the law correctly, if that makes any knowledge to your sense to you.
Oh, absolutely. What do you think is some of the biggest misconceptions that people may have about your job?
That it's easy. That hey, that would be the easiest job ever. All you do is drive around and check fishing license. No, it's a lot more than that. Like I'll refer to Bowie County because that's where I did most of my enforcement career, is in Bowie County. There's two wardens in Bowie County, and it's the most populated county in my district. So there's two wardens that cover that vast area. And we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, unless you're on scheduled leave. And so calls don't wait for your time of convenience. They'll come at the most inoperable times. I've worked drownings Christmas morning. I have worked drownings on Easter. I've worked fatality hunting accidents on Thanksgiving. I have, it's nothing lines up typically to what people think. Oh, you just make your own schedule and do this and that. But there are those times where it is going to intervene with your family. And if you don't have a family that understands that, then it can cause a lot of tension at home. Luckily, I'm blessed with a wife that completely gets it. I mean, since we've been married, I've been in law enforcement. And when I switched over to the state side of it, she adapted just perfectly. I mean, she understands that phone rings at 3 a.m. and I'm gone and I won't see her. Probably she gets off work the next day. But she calls and checks on me, and I check in with her. So it has always worked out. You've got to have somebody that supports you behind the scenes. That's the big thing that has made my career such a success. Is one, my wife supports me. Two, my kids support me, and then my mother and father also did. Even my in-laws did. They supported me greatly. It's that makes a game ward's job so much easier, or any law enforcement's job, to have that support network behind the scenes.
It shows how much you really truly appreciate your family, and I'm sure they appreciate you doing all that hard work, because when you're getting those 3 a.m. phone calls, that's someone else's family that's about to get some bad news, or some kind of
Yes,
situation,
ma'am.
right? Goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
And your son, who just became a game warden, how does that feel for you to see him kind of follow through those same footsteps? I mean, how do you feel?
It was when he told me he wanted to. I said, hey, why don't you start riding? Why don't you get in our ride along program and go ride since you're in college? We allow college students who meet the qualifications to get in our trucks with us and ride and see. And I told Dawson, I said, the best thing you can do is go sit in that truck, because you will never understand it just sitting in the house listening to me answer the calls. You need to go sit in that truck. And it was very interesting. The first night that he rode, we had a critical incident happen. We had an officer get shot, and not us, but another agency. So Dawson's very first night of sitting in one of those trucks was an officer-involved shooting night. And for him to see all that night, I mean, we went all night. I mean, that started and the sun was up. We didn't get off till the next morning when the guy was in custody. But he got to see the worst of the worst the very first time he rode. And that kind of set the tone that, hey, this is a serious job and it is a dangerous job. But he also went back and rode and got to see the lighter side of it. He got to see, hey, we get to go to the lake and check all these people, and 99.9% of them are 100% legal and are just out here recreating, and they love us to death. And then he got to see the small percentage that's the opposite side of that. So it opened his eyes day one. And he stuck with it, graduated from college, and then applied for both Arkansas and Texas, and did get hired by both states. He got hired first by Arkansas, and then Texas gave him a job offer, and he accepted with Texas. And we have a lot of friends in Arkansas that work for Arkansas Game and Fish, and if he'd have decided to stay over there, that would have been wonderful. The timing just wasn't right then for him to do that. I had to have a kidney transplant, which I'm sure you saw in my biography. And our youngest was still at home. So Dawson gave up the Arkansas Game Warden Academy to stay home with our youngest son while I was in the hospital for that month to 2 month period. I had to stay in Dallas. And so he couldn't go to Arkansas Academy because I had left I think he was 16 at the time, home by himself. So Dawson passed on Arkansas and then took the job with Texas. So it was kind of interesting to watch my own son go through the process. And the hardest part is I'm not able to help him. I'm not able to say, hey, this is how you do it. He's got to learn it on his own. He's got his own captain. He's got his own co-workers. And then when he was in the academy, it's their way. It's not the field's way. It's their way. And, he would ask, and I was like, hey, you do it how your instructor tells you to do it. So that was the interesting points of that. But
Do you,
extremely proud of.
what advice did you give him on his first day or just before his first day?
First day at the academy, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Go in there and yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. If they don't know you're a game warden's son, don't tell them you're a game warden's son. And I know that sounds bad, but
Right.
I don't want my kid having any special treatment. None whatsoever. He's going to earn it just like the person sitting in the chair next to him. Because we hire a lot of people to go to these academies. I say a lot. It's not like astronomical numbers, but we have a certain number is not going to make it through. And I think the first week of his academy, or the first 2 weeks, they had 3 or 4 quit. Just I can't do this. Just bow out and go home.
Is it that intense?
It's a lifestyle change.
Okay.
And it's a lifestyle change. You're living in a law enforcement academy. You've got to reside there Monday through Friday. It's college on steroids. I mean, it's drinking from the fire hose kind of mentality. It's a lot of information getting poured down you in a short period of time, and you're there for 7 months to get all the way through it, and it becomes a monotonous everyday thing of going through it. And we'll lose some at the first, we'll lose some kind of at the midway point and stuff like that. But the ones that make it through, that they earned it. They do not give these badges away. They earned it.
Now, I know you brought this up earlier, and I want to make sure that we highlight it. You talked about your transplant. What
Yes,
caused
ma'am.
what caused you to get your transplant?
Okay, when I was 17 years old, I got diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease. And that's where the kidneys just keep producing cysts and getting larger and larger and larger until they lose all their functionability. I actually lost my left kidney when I was 17. It quit functioning. So I made it from 17 to 50 on just my right kidney. And of course, both kidneys were infected with polycystic kidney disease. And I'd been going back and forth to UT Southwest there in Dallas since 2017, and had a wonderful doctor there. And he had me on a regiment to prolong my kidney life. And so I stretched my kidney from 2017 to 2025, 8 years. And that one that finally gave out and had to have the transplant. But when I went on the transplant list, I went on the transplant list in 2023. I'd been on the transplant list approximately 2 years. And I got a call one day, hey, just as soon as I got on the transplant list, it was just a few months. Hey, we've got a possible match. We need you to come to Dallas. And we drove all the way to Dallas, got there, sat in the waiting room, only to find out I was the backup. And got sent home, no kidney. So that was a real devastating blow, to say the least, to go through. But a couple years later, my wife turned to Facebook. There goes it, mentioning my wife again. My wife turned to Facebook and was making posts about it. And, you never think of Facebook as being the place to go to get a transplant. Or somebody's going to read this and go, hey, I'm going to go get tested. Most of the people that got tested were my friends and family. And so there was a young lady here in Texarkana, and she saw it on Facebook. Actually, her husband saw it and showed it to her. And they were strangers to me. They knew my wife from the school, but they were strangers to me. We've since become friends. And she was like, hey, I seen you on TV. That's how I knew who you were. And I knew you were married to Miss Herbie, the teacher. But, so she went and got tested and matched me. And that was like, they called me and they said, there's a potential match. It's a female. Would you be willing to accept a female kidney? I would be willing to accept any kidney. I mean, I need a kidney. And so I accepted. We set a date for surgery. There was an accident in her family that prolonged it. And they called one day and just said, hey, the surgery's off. And I was like, oh, that was a big letdown because they don't tell you why. It's just, hey, the donors had something happen. And you're like, oh, did they back out? Did they do this? Did they do that? And come to find out, a family member of hers had been involved in an accident. So when Tracy went back to Facebook posting stuff, she went back and, hey, hospital, I'm still going to do this, set the date. And so they set another date. And now it was June 23rd. They called, we're like, hey, it's back on June 23rd. And so I still don't know who this is. I don't. And we get to the hospital. I'm thinking maybe we'll be in the same waiting room. We weren't. Maybe Tracy will see somebody she recognizes in the hallways. She never did. And so I get my kidney put in June 23rd. And they don't tell, they probably told us, but you're so excited that you just don't listen that good. It didn't wake up. It was asleep, is what they kept telling me. And it took it like 10 days to wake up and start working. And that's not normal for a living donor kidney. It's kind of more normal for the deceased donor kidney, we've learned.
Oh,
But
wow.
when it woke up, well, it took off. It started working. So I come to my follow-up appointment. And of course, you're sitting in a little waiting room that's not much bigger than a broom closet. And there's this couple sitting just like across the room from us. And I'm deaf from Tracy. I mean, not from Tracy. I'm deaf from shooting firearms my whole life and firearms training and everything like that. And Tracy's elbowing me, trying to whisper stuff in my ear. I'm not hearing any of it. I mean, I know she's trying to tell me something, but I can't make it out. She's not going to raise her voice. And so this lady comes across to me and says, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag now. And she goes, I'm your donor. And I lose it. I mean, I lose it. I cried like a baby. And I can't stand up out of this wheelchair because I got 88 staples through my stomach and up the side. And she's hugging my neck and she's crying. I'm crying. And that's how I met my donor. And when I tell you she's an angel to me. She will always be an angel to me. And she has her own battles. I mean, she's married with 3 small kids, and she chose to do this for somebody who is not a family member and who was a stranger. They just don't make them like that. So,
That's amazing. Okay, you mentioned June. Was this past June?
yes, ma'am, June 23rd.
How are you doing? Do we still have staples? What's going on?
No, we're doing wonderful. I had the staples for, I think, 10 or 15 days there. Yeah, don't recommend those. Those are very painful.
Oh,
But
well,
my kidney function is up above 50%, which everybody is ecstatic with. Yes, ma'am. And I haven't had a 50% kidney function since I was probably 17
oh,
or 18 years old. So that's been a long road. And it's still climbing. This last time it was up a little higher, so we're praying it keeps going up. Uh, and we're hoping it does very well for me.
I'm so happy for you. That's amazing to go through all of that. I mean, starting at 17, how has that made your life different as a game warden or just as a person with just one kidney? What kind of life changes does that include?
Well, they didn't tell me nothing when I was 17. They're like, you got one kidney. It's eventually going to quit. I mean, and that sounds kind of blunt, but that's basically what I was told at Arkansas Children's. And I made 0 life changes then. I didn't make any life changes. I really didn't get good advice on how to manage that disease until I got to UT Southwest in 2016, 2017. And so I cut out all caffeine, drink nothing but water, limit proteins. Back then it was could only eat so much protein a day, and it had to be chicken or fish. I wasn't supposed to eat beef. And since my transplant, I still drink nothing but water and unsweet tea, but I can eat a little more protein now. But I'm still supposed to eat clean protein. And when you're going on those diets and they tell you, hey, you can eat fish, it's not fried fish. It's not fried catfish. It's grilled catfish. with
Oh,
nothing on it. I mean, it is plain grilled catfish. It's a struggle bus.
oh,
It's hard to follow that diet.
oh, I believe you, because fried catfish is one of my favorites. Oh
Yes,
my
ma'am.
goodness. I'm so happy for you. That going through that whole journey, that is something else. And then you mentioned your wife just kind of sticking to you or sticking with you through that whole experience and leaning on Facebook of all places to find that connection for you. That's amazing.
Yes, ma'am. It was when she started doing it, I was like, "That's never going to work." But if it makes you feel better, babe, go for it.
Oh,
And she proved me wrong.
oh goodness. And you mentioned she was a teacher. Where's she teaching?
She teaches at Red Lake Elementary. She's been a kindergartner teacher there
Oh,
for 20 years, I guess now.
mm-hmm. And that's kindergarten's hard. That's a lot of energy to
That's the
handle.
grade she wants. That's the grade she wants. And I look at her like, hey, you're a saint. I couldn't do it.
Well, we've kind of come up to our time limit. Is there a
Okay.
last note or last word or thought you want to leave us on as we're wrapping up our evening?
Just, hey, if you're out there and you see a game warden, they're not out there to write you a citation. They're out there just to check your license, make sure you're doing everything legal, and treat you with the most utmost respect, and just do their job. These guys and gals that are out here in all the states in this area enforcing the laws, they have the public's best interest at heart, and they're out there to help and assist any way they can, and just always look at them that way.